I was just at work and there was some stuff happening on Facebook in the background, and I heard this guy talking about making hope normal again, and all of a sudden my ears picked up and I was like, this sounds so true, this sounds so right, this is what I believe in, this is our core values. Who is this guy? And then all of a sudden Zach pops up and you're like, all right, that's cool. So then all of a sudden you start looking deeper and doing deeper research, and then you go, wow, their moral compass completely aligns with my moral compass. Like, they're in the regions of around like 230 to 300,000 pounds. It's not small pocket change. No. Even if they've grown up there their whole entire life and wanted to stay there, the housing doesn't reflect the opportunity. The easiest way to describe it is the good times were great and the bad times were very bad. You learn to grow up very quickly, but my natural nature is very empathetic, so it makes you appreciate what we have here so much. Yeah. Seeing people like children out in Iraq in types of poverty that you don't normally see in the UK, so it really makes you understand the different worlds and the different cultures, and it makes you grow up extremely quick. Focus on the future, because we've got the opportunity to shape it how we want it to be. It's not just about big policy, it's about local policy, and if you want someone that's looking to make that change, I'm the person to make it happen.
Welcome back to Greens Rising, the podcast where we meet people stepping up to make politics local, human and hopeful again. Today we're in Eaglescliffe West, talking to Danny Reid, the Green Party candidate in the by-election on the 11th of December. Danny's a familiar face locally. He's lived there around 10 years, been part of the community groups and run arts projects, delivered prescriptions during lockdown and spent much of his career helping people find confidence and direction. He's also a veteran, a lecturer and someone who only joined the Greens a few weeks ago after deciding it was time to stand up, speak up and help shape the future of the place he now calls home. This is a conversation about community, about hope and about what it looks like when ordinary people decide to put themselves forwards. So I'm really delighted to welcome Danny here.
Hello.
Thanks for coming in, Danny, to our episode of Greens Rising.
It's great. It's great to be here.
So first of all, how are you feeling? I imagine this is quite a whirlwind situation for you.
Yeah. So like exactly from what you've just said there, from being only joining the Green Party a few weeks ago to now being running as a candidate in the local by-election is a huge whirlwind of excitement. Quite nervous, but very hopeful as well, which is a big thing that we're picking up.
So you've only been inside politics for a couple of weeks?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's an area that I've tried to stay away from. What's
it like for you outside of politics?
Outside of politics, it's been a naive world, because I've always been along the lines of, oh, well, we can only make a little bit of a change. And then seeing and hearing things, like moving into my role as a lecturer, hearing young people's voice and the challenges that they're starting to face, and understanding that we've got a bigger challenge on our hands, and only those that have walked the steps before can really help make this change in the future. So it's a great opportunity that I see that is fateful and has just landed at the right time in my life and life journey.
So you're new to politics. I mean, I'm really interested to explore as well why you decided to join the Green Party. I'm aware that you're a veteran.
Yep.
And so that's interesting as well, that somebody who is a veteran making a choice to join this political party. Tell me about that choice.
So it's really interesting, because I was just at work and there was some stuff happening on Facebook in the background, and I heard this guy talking about making hope normal again, and all of a sudden my ears picked up and I was like, this sounds so true, this sounds so right, this is what I believe in, this is our core values. Who is this guy? And then all of a sudden Zach pops up and you're like, all right, that's cool. So then all of a sudden you start looking deeper and doing deeper research, and then you go, wow, their moral compass completely aligns with my moral compass, and it just falls into place.
So that's actually really lovely to hear. Polling day for this by-election is the 11th of December.
Yeah.
So What's the mood on the ground in Eaglescliffe? Have you had a chance to speak to anybody there and get out and do anything there?
So we've done some litter picking with a local litter picking group,
Yeah.
and they were really happy that the local candidate had actually stepped forward to
help with the litter picking.
to actually step forward and actually help out and do
Yeah,
what we
sure.
say we're going to do.
Yeah.
But the main driver at the moment is I've got to give credit to the team behind the campaign, the mobilisation of a short notice campaign, and the guys are out delivering leaflets, asking people questions, and we're able to really find what's making the local area tick. We've got people on the phones.
So having sort of talked to residents then, as part of the campaign, what is coming to the surface in terms of the top priorities for that community?
Mainly like transport infrastructure. There's a lot of houses being built in the area, new houses, but there hasn't been any real consideration into extra transport.
Yeah.
It's kind of gone the other way.
Ended up with large bulk developments that aren't properly fed with bus services, for example.
Bus services, or thinking about new road infrastructure. Where Eaglescliffe West is, it does lead into a very rural area.
Yeah.
So traffic builds up very, very quick. And at certain times of the day, it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
But then also on an evening, then comes in people driving erratically, which does cause a lot of concerns with road traffic safety. And there has been a few accidents in the area. So again, main thing has been around transport and the speed at which these developments have come up.
Have you had any concerns expressed in relation to issues like the affordability of housing, maybe the impact of new housing developments on services, existing services?
So one thing we've noticed is these housing areas are popping up with no real thought for extra infrastructure. So is the demand that's getting put on local schools? Is there going to be another school? Because the population's about to grow. You've got to have access to a car to be able to get to the local shops. There's nothing really close nearby. So it's going to be interesting to see how they move forwards and look after the communities with these future developments.
Absolutely. It's a huge concern, especially given that the government's now very considerably increased the number of houses that local authorities need to get through the process.
Yeah.
So all of that is going to add to the sort of pressures you're talking about.
It's going to add phenomenal amount of pressure, and then the pressures of children going into school, and then the pressures on the schools.
Yeah.
As well. My two stepkids have just finished a few years ago. Then the classes were still big numbers. So bringing in extra housing, is this going to put an extra strain on education systems as well, and extra strain on teachers?
In terms of the type of houses that are being built as well?
I wouldn't say that the first-time buyers type of homes, like they're in the regions of around like £230,000 to £300,000. It's not small pocket change.
No.
It's not the type of thing that a young person starting out in their own first place will be able to really look to purchase a home in that area.
Yeah.
Even if they've grown up there their whole entire life and wanted to stay there, the housing doesn't reflect the opportunity.
This is such a common issue across the whole country.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there's a need for new homes to be built. But they need to be homes that actually align with the needs of people in those communities.
Yeah. It's like we would love to have the opportunity for our kids to be able to purchase a home, to be able to get a job that could support them. These types of opportunities are dwindling.
You've had quite the life already. British Army, a fitness business, youth arts, now a lecturer. What ties all of that together for you?
It's the constant drive to try and inspire the next generation, really.
Yeah.
Joining the army was a bit of a sporadic choice. I was doing music technology and production at Newcastle College, and I realised that there wasn't any real careers on the other side of this, and looking out on quite a bleak future from not doing too well at school.
Yeah.
I was like, well, the only thing I can really do is join the army.
What did you get out of joining the army, though? I mean, was it rewarding? Was it difficult?
The easiest way to describe it is the good times were great and the bad times were very bad. You learn to grow up very quickly, but my natural nature is very empathetic, so it makes you appreciate what we have here so much.
Yeah.
Seeing people like children out in Iraq in types of poverty that you don't normally see in the UK, so it really makes you understand the different worlds and the different cultures, and it makes you grow up extremely quick. but also it has another effect as well, which is when you come back home, it's very, very hard to adjust.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
going from like 19, going
Yeah.
out to war, leaving the army just before your 22nd birthday, that short space of time has got a big impact. And a lot of times, and it did have a big impact on my life after the army as well. It took me a long time to get over being in the army and finding myself.
Yeah.
But again, that's when the entrepreneurial drive came in, because I didn't feel that I could fit in anywhere. So it was like, right, well, if I can't fit anywhere, I'll do my own business. And then that inspired my wife to start off her own business, doing Happy Cactus coaching, which is where the art stuff came in. And that was run out of Eaglescliffe Community Centre, which is when we got into amateur dramatics, and that's where I met my wife.
Yeah.
And that's when I fell in love with the community. And yeah, everything spiraled.
Listening to you speak, you sound like the perfect fit for a county councillor role, which is representing the community.
Yeah.
And in the Green Party, our ethics are very much about representation in its broadest term. I mean, we've obviously got a very solid foundation of policies in the party, but at a local level, the job of a Green Party councillor is just to be in touch with people's priorities and try and deliver against those priorities. Do you think that's something you can dedicate yourself to? Yeah,
it's always been a case since I was growing up, standing up for the people that can't stand up for themselves. So growing up as I would be classed now as a young carer. My older brother suffered with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
So from being born, it was always a case of there's someone else that you need to help out.
Yeah.
There's someone that can't help themselves, so you've got a moral obligation to help. When you're young, you don't understand these lessons. This was such an amazing gift to have a brother to help you understand empathy and the life lessons that there are other people out there. Don't just focus on what you need. Other people need that help.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to stand up and be the voice for those people.
Absolutely. So I'm a county councillor for County Durham Green Party, on Durham County Council. So it's been, I wouldn't say a similar journey for me, but the final destination has been the same, desire to be able to actually help people in the community. And that starts with that listening to people.
Exactly. And 9 times out of 10, you can help people understand their problems even more so by just saying, like, talk to me. Let's listen. Let's find out what's going on.
I've got some other interesting parts of your life here that I just want to ask you about.
Yeah, let's go.
So tell me about the amateur dramatics group. How did that become your tribe?
It was from when I was running my gym business. I was speaking to one of my clients, and he was in the amateur dramatics group. And he was like, "Oh, you should come along for an audition for Peter Pan."
How long ago was this incident?
That was about 11 years ago now. 11 years ago, yeah. And I went along and did an audition for Secco the Italian Pirate. And it was such a great time.
Yeah.
And the great thing was it was my first type of amateur dramatic thing. And it brought everyone together, all walks of life. Like, nobody was like, no, you're not good enough. Everybody was able to stand on stage and be heard and represented. And it was, from growing up with a brother with special needs, it was great to see how people embraced everybody.
Yeah.
And it was like that moment when I was like, these people are so nice. and that's where I met Michelle. Like, she was actually the producer at the time. Yeah, and then we did a few more musicals. And again, it was just that constant sense of community, bringing people together, and the fun
Michelle,
side.
your wife?
Michelle's my wife.
Right.
Yeah. She's a big driver for a lot of my ambition stuff as well.
And she has also joined the Green Party?
Yeah.
Independently of you?
Yeah.
Just get this right. Neither of you realised each other had joined?
But we're joined, we both signed up, just as a, you know what, I totally believe in that, yes. And then we sat down one night when Michelle was like, "Oh, I've joined the Green Party." I was like, "Oh, no way, so did I." And it was like that conversation went, "Oh yeah, Zach's mint, isn't he?" And we started talking, and yeah, everything's right. So, and hopefully we can make hope like normal again.
And Cactus Arts.
Happy Cactus.
Tell me about Happy Cactus.
So Happy Cactus was actually set up by Michelle, my wife, and her business partner Natalie around 7 years ago. There was a bit of a gap in the market for kids that didn't really fit in school. In like PE lessons, and felt quite pressured, but also then allowed them to have a safe space, do some physical exercise, and then break the second part of the session down into like mental health awareness training for young people. So helping them explore emotions, understand emotions, and the impact it's had on a lot of young people has been absolutely fantastic. It's inspirational to see. And the times when I've been able to step in as a coach, because we're actually running out of my gym business, like out of my gym location, being able to support that business grow and then hand it over to them and go like, it's your space now, go and do it.
Fantastic.
But then Michelle really wanted to do the same with art as well, because we have a very artistic home, and it was a big drive around that as well, and bringing people into the community centre, supporting children in the local area, grow and again find their people, find their little group.
I mean, this is very interesting because it's clear that you've already had a lot of experience in community building prior to even getting involved in politics.
Yeah, we ran the gym business, and that wasn't a open gym where you could come and lift your own weights and stuff.
Yeah.
It was all community driven, and it was like they'd turn up for a set session, so people would train together. Friendships have been formed in them groups now that will last a lifetime.
Let's just imagine we're sort of fast forwarding to a point where you've already won the by-election.
Yes.
And at that point, what will be your priorities as an elected councillor? What sort of things do you want to get done for the community?
First of all, I want to find out what's going on with the housing. I want to find out if there's any plans for infrastructure to be supported. Is there going to be any plans for new schools, any new shops? I want to find out exactly what's going on and then pass that message straight on to the people in the local area, because knowing what's happening in the area, I believe, is really key. If you don't know what's going on in the area, you feel unsupported if you're not part of the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whether it be a local podcast like we're doing now, updating, allowing the local members of the community to drop in questions and we answer them, bring in live clinic.
I mean, you'd be surprised how often councils sort of do stuff to communities rather than with communities. I have it in my own ward. You know, there's a situation at the moment where there's a very valuable green space, valued as well. People regularly use it. And the council have told us that there's interest from an international developer, but it would be commercially sensitive to tell us what, you know, or who.
Yeah.
So we're just left thinking this is all going to be developed, no real clue about what's going on. It's a really appalling situation.
Yeah.
That's Durham County Council, folks.
And this is the thing as well. It's how are we meant to support and represent the local area if we don't know what's going on? If we're not allowed to be part of these conversations, how can we get the support of the local people to either be, this is a great thing that we support, or actually, no, the local people aren't on board with this. This isn't.
Local communities need to be in control of the decisions that affect their immediate area.
Yeah, of course.
Why shouldn't they be?
It's like Michelle's family, for example. She grew up there. Her grandparents were there. They've seen a lot of change. They've seen the community centre grow. And it's a case of like, right, well, if something happens, why isn't the local councillor out talking to people? The new housing developments, how involved was the local councillor on speaking to people in the area? Did they get an opportunity?
Yeah,
to say, actually, there's a new thing happening here.
It all starts with having a proactive local councillor who's actually making an effort to connect with the people in their area. I want to ask you a question about young people. How do you feel the situation is for young people? What would you say to young people to give them hope and inspiration, or, you know, what would be your key message to them?
So I would really say to young people, understand what's happening with the Green Party, follow it with your core values, and make the changes that you want to see for the future, because this is your future.
Yeah, I think it's interesting actually that young people as a bloc have a very powerful voice in the Green Party and actually shape Green Party policy and our position on all sorts of matters. And of course we're supported hugely by people between 16 and 26 years old. You know, we're way ahead of any other party in the polls when it comes to young people. And actually that support gives us a lead in the polls all the way up to 50. If there was a general election, they would be voting Green and we'd win. But then, of course, there are so many voters above the age of 50 who are much more likely to support reform.
I feel that young people have got this sense of like a real bravery and are starting to really almost live the idea of hope.
Yeah.
And that's where this drive has come from these young people. They are wanting to make the change. They are so much more aware of environmental issues and sustainability issues than I ever was. And it's amazing to see how the young people are willing to make big changes to support this within their lifestyle and are able to do this, for me, it's an inspiration to see the impact that young people are having, and it does really instill hope back into the future.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much misinformation spread about so much all the time, especially in relation to the climate emergency and the nature emergency as well. And so it tends to be the case that above 50, people are much more likely to be sceptical of the science of climate change and collapsing ecosystems, whereas young people, I don't know whether it's because of their education or whether they're more savvy when it comes to the internet, they're much more likely to actually understand and accept the reality and therefore get down to what needs to be done.
Yeah, like the kids now are able to find information really quick.
Yeah.
And get the true voice of what the actual meaning is behind it.
Absolutely. If there's anything that is out there that really gives me hope, it's actually the position of young people on so many issues nowadays.
Yeah, and it's great to see how they're running with so many different things. For me, like, social media it's a curse and a blessing. It connects so many people, but it gives a room for a lot of hate. But what I'm seeing is a lot of young people are now being able to use it for a positive voice, and it gives them a platform to be able to really put forward what they believe in, which is, imagine that when we were growing up, a platform where you could put your beliefs, the things that you want to see, the changes that you want to see in the world as a young person. That would be so powerful. And like you were saying about the Green Party being so young, again, are the younger generation buying into it because they feel that they can help make a change to the policy and the party itself?
Well, they can, and they are.
Yeah, it's not just you didn't go to this special school, so you can't join our party.
Yeah. It's
a real local level voice, and I'd really love for my kids to even see that I'm jumped in to the running as a candidate as a level of inspiration. It doesn't matter who you are, you can make a change. Doesn't matter what your background is. Put yourself in a position where you're willing to do what you say you're going to do.
Now, back into elections and strategy and all of that sort of stuff. If someone says to you Greens can't win here, what would you say to them?
If someone said Greens can't win, the first question would be like, why? What's your thought pattern there? I see this a lot with other candidates and other political parties, and all that they do is they shout about their ideas and what they believe in, as opposed to asking the person why. What's the core belief of that reason?
Yeah.
Why don't you believe the Greens can't win?
Absolutely. And of course we're also seeing a tremendous surge in support nationally as well, and that will be reflected across places like Eaglescliffe.
I think that is going to have a big impact on the by-election. Will it become a protest of people to say we want to really make a difference and we're going to start voting the correct way?
So one final question, Danny. What would you say to a resident of Eaglescliffe West ahead of the by-election right now?
Focus on the future, because we've got the opportunity to shape it how we want it to be. It's not just about big policy, it's about local policy. And if you want someone that's looking to make that change, I'm the person to make it happen.
From what you've said today, if you can just manage to communicate that message out to the people of Eaglescliffe West, I think you've got every chance of winning this election. And if you live in Eaglescliffe West, Danny will be on your ballot paper on the 11th of December. Thank you for listening to Greens Rising. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do give us a like, hit the subscribe button to get notifications of all Greens Rising episodes. And if you're watching on YouTube, then leave a note in the comments. We'll be back very soon with more voices bringing real hope and real change across the North East. Take care. See you next time on Greens Rising.